Somewhere right now, someone is looking at a Scotty Cameron putter on eBay. The photos look clean. The price seems fair. The seller has decent feedback. And the putter sitting in that listing is a counterfeit, manufactured in a factory in China, shipped to a warehouse in Georgia, and listed as if it rolled off the line in Scotty Cameron's own studio in California. What nobody knew, until collectors started pulling these apart and comparing them side by side with authenticated models, is that there's a single manufacturing detail the counterfeiters have never figured out. It's been over a decade, and they still get it wrong on almost every fake that hits the market. Today, we're going to show you exactly what that tell is, along with every other checkpoint that separates a real Scotty Cameron from a worthless copy. By the time this is done, you'll be able to spot a fake in under 30 seconds. How does a putter become the single most counterfeited club in the sport? That story starts in Southern California, in a small shop where a young designer named Don Cameron, who went by Scotty, was building putters by hand in the early 1990s. Cameron grew up in Huntington Beach, about an hour south of Los Angeles, and he wasn't trying to build a brand. He was trying to build the best putter he could get his hands on. He started his own company, Cameron Golf International, and by 1993, one of his handmade prototypes ended up in the bag of Bernhard Langer at Augusta National. Langer won the Masters that year with a Cameron putter in his hands. That win caught the attention of Wally Uihlein, the CEO of Acushnet Company, the parent company behind Titleist. And in September of 1994, Cameron and Titleist became partners. The first retail line dropped between 1995 and 1996. Those original models, now called the Classics, were named after locations along the California coast: Newport, Catalina, Coronado, Del Mar, La Costa, Laguna, Napa. If you own one of those original Classics in unaltered condition today, you're holding a piece that has appreciated for close to 30 years and shows no sign of slowing down. The clock was already ticking on the counterfeiters, though. They just couldn't hear it yet. Then came 1997, and everything changed. Scotty introduced the Tyrillium series, putters built with a copper-toned alloy face insert that produced a softer feel than anything else on the market. The design even had a backstory. Cameron got the idea for the signature domino pattern dots in the back cavity from a busted muffler he saw in a parking lot. He was 32 years old at the time, so he put 32 white silicone dots in the cavity. Those dots weren't just for looks. They dampened vibration and improved feel at impact. That kind of detail, pulling design inspiration from a parking lot and engineering it into a putter, is what made Cameron different. Tiger Woods put a Tyrillium Newport in his bag for the 1997 Masters at Augusta National. He won by 12 strokes. He was 21. And overnight, Scotty Cameron became the most recognized putter brand in the world. That single tournament turned these putters from equipment into collectibles. The Tyrillium line, the Circle T tour-only models, the limited releases, they all started climbing in price. And they kept climbing. In August of 2021, a backup Scotty Cameron Newport 2 that Tiger Woods used during his 2002 season sold at Golden Age golf auctions for $393,300. That is believed to be the most expensive single golf club ever sold at auction. Scotty Cameron reportedly built one or two backup putters for Tiger every year, and according to the auction house, only about 7 genuine Tiger Woods red dot backup putters exist in the world. A similar backup from the 2001 season had already sold for $155,000 the year before. And in 2022, yet another Tiger backup went for $328,577. Now, those are the extreme examples. But even a standard used Scotty Cameron Newport sells on eBay today for a median price of about $400, based on over 400 confirmed sales tracked by Scotty Index. A Newport 2 runs around a median of $292 for more than 1,600 confirmed transactions. Newer models like the Phantom X and Super Select trade between $500 and $900 used. Limited Masters releases, Circle T prototypes, and rare vintage models? Those are a separate market entirely and can clear thousands. And then there's the Circle T market. Circle T putters are tour-only models, built specifically for professional players at the Scotty Cameron Putter Studio. They're not sold in pro shops. They're not available on ScottyCameron.com. The only way one enters the secondary market is if a touring professional sells or gifts one, or if it surfaces through an estate. Authentic Circle T models routinely sell for $2,000 to $9,000 or more, depending on the model and its documented history. An authenticated Circle T 009M cherry bomb stamped with Acushnet sold for nearly $9,000. A collection of all 8 original Scotty Cameron Classic models, still in original plastic with head covers, went for $14,500. That kind of money, across that many models and price tiers, is exactly what brought the counterfeiters in. At any given moment, there are over 16,000 Scotty Cameron putter listings active on eBay. Forum posts on Golf WRX have documented sellers shipping high-quality fakes with Buy It Now, prices around $259, putters manufactured in China, and routed through domestic U.S. addresses to look legitimate. eBay's own community boards have users from as recently as September 2025 complaining about numerous Chinese sellers offering counterfeit Scotty Cameron and LAB putters, with eBay taking little visible action. And Scotty Cameron's own website carries a counterfeit product notice that puts it as clearly as it gets. Their putters are made in the United States. If the product is shipping from or located in China or Hong Kong, it is probably counterfeit. They don't sell seconds. They don't sell blems. There are no alternate versions of their products in the marketplace. The fakes have gotten better, too. Collectors on Golf Monthly describe 2 tiers of counterfeits. The cheap ones are easy to catch. Cast bubbles in the metal, rough finish, painted on weights that don't actually move. You can spot those from across a pro shop. But the second tier is different. Real, removable weights. Milled faces. Grips that pass a quick visual check. Good enough that experienced golfers have gained them for years without knowing, sometimes only discovering the truth when they sent the putter to Scotty Cameron's custom shop for refinishing and got it back with a note saying it was counterfeit. One buyer on eBay's community board described purchasing what he believed was an authentic Scotty Cameron in 2021. He didn't find out it was fake until 2024, when he sent it to the Cameron studio. By that point, the seller was long gone and the return window had closed years ago. His only recourse, according to the community, was small claims court. So here's where we earn the title of this video: The Tells. The single most reliable tell, and the one counterfeiters have failed to fix for over a decade, is the shaft label placement. On every authentic Scotty Cameron putter, the shaft label sits on the back side of the shaft. When you set the putter down at address and look down, you don't see the label. It faces away from you. Counterfeits, almost without exception, place the shaft label on the front side, facing the golfer. Authentication experts at Putter Lounge have called this the most obvious indicator they encounter, and they've been documenting fakes since 2012. If you're looking at a Scotty Cameron and the shaft label faces you at address, stop right there. You don't need to check anything else. That test takes 2 seconds, and the details only get more specific from here. Pick up the putter and look at the face. Scotty Cameron putters are precision milled at the company's studio in California, and the milling lines on an authentic face are tight, uniform, and consistent. The lines run straight and at the same depth across the entire face. Now pick up a counterfeit. The milling is uneven. Some lines are deeper than others. Some don't run parallel. On the cheap fakes, you can see it with the naked eye across a putting green. On the better counterfeits, you need a magnifying glass or a sharp close-up photo under good light. And that's exactly why a lot of questionable eBay listings use dim photos shot with a phone camera at arm's length. If a seller won't provide a well-lit, zoomed-in photo of the face when you ask, that silence is doing the talking. Third tell: the heel side of the putter head. Authentic Scotty Cameron putters carry the word Titleist engraved into the heel. According to Golf Partner USA, which has authenticated thousands of Camerons across their retail locations, this engraving is what they describe as a definitive mark of authenticity. A significant number of counterfeits skip it entirely. The counterfeiter will replicate the Scotty Cameron logo on the sole, stamp the model name on the cavity, even get the dot pattern on the back close to right. and then they leave off the Titleist heel engraving. If it's not there, the putter isn't real. If you're building a collection or thinking about picking up a vintage set, hit subscribe. Every week we cover the clubs, the collectibles, and the hidden value sitting in golf bags people overlook. This is the channel for that. Enter the insert and weight test. For models with face inserts, specifically the Terillium and Select series, there's a physical check you can run with the putter in your hands. The insert on an authentic Scotty Cameron is a separate piece of German stainless steel, and it should be slightly shinier than the surrounding head material. It's a distinct component, not molded into the head. The screws holding the insert are functional. They turn. They come out. On a counterfeit, the insert blends into the head as if it's one piece, and the screws are decorative, glued in. They don't move. Same principle for the sole weights. On authentic models with adjustable weighting, the weights are removable. They're designed to be swapped for different configurations. On a counterfeit, the weight markings are painted onto the sole. The weights themselves are cast right into the body. They look like they should come out. They don't. Then there's the paint fill. Authentic Scotty Cameron putters have precise, clean paint application. The color sits exactly inside the engraved lines, with no bleeding over the edges. It's one of those details you don't consciously notice on a real putter because it's done correctly. On a counterfeit, under close inspection, the paint is sloppy. It runs outside the grooves. The edges are uneven. And the engravings themselves tend to be shallower than factory spec, which means the paint has less surface to sit in and wears off faster. The grip is the last physical checkpoint, and it catches the fakes that pass everything else at first glance. Authentic Scotty Cameron grips are made from a specific rubber compound with a precise color that matches what the factory specifies for each model year. Counterfeits replicate the shape and sometimes the pattern, but the material is cheaper. It feels different in your hands. Slightly tackier or slightly slicker. The color is off, usually darker, or with a different sheen under overhead light. If you've held a real one before, you'll feel the difference. If you haven't, Scotty Cameron's own putter archive at scottycameron.com documents every model year with factory specs and images. We put together a guide that covers all of this, plus how to value, buy, and sell vintage golf equipment without getting burned. Scan the QR code on screen right now and grab a copy. It's the same research behind every video on this channel, so you know what to check on the putter itself. 7 physical tells. But half the battle happens before you ever touch the club. The listing itself carries red flags if you know what to read. First, the origin. If the putter is shipping from China or Hong Kong, walk away. Even if the price looks right. Even if the photos are sharp. Scotty Cameron putters are manufactured in the United States. That's not a collector's opinion. That's a direct statement from the company, published on their counterfeit product notice page. And the domestic warehouse trick doesn't change the origin. A putter manufactured in Shenzhen and warehoused in Atlanta is still a counterfeit. The shipping label says Georgia. The putter says China. Second, the payment method. If the seller wants a wire transfer through Western Union or a similar service, walk away. Those transfers are untraceable. Counterfeiters use them specifically because the money disappears once it's sent. eBay's own buyer protection covers purchases made through the platform's checkout, and PayPal's purchase protection covers transactions where you can prove the item doesn't match the description. Wire transfers offer none of that. Third, the price. If it's significantly below what the model typically sells for, check it against real confirmed data before you bid. Scotty Index tracks completed eBay sales daily across every Scotty Cameron model in existence. They'll show you the median price, the typical range, and the actual closed transactions. If the listing you're looking at sits 40% below the median with no obvious explanation like heavy cosmetic damage, the math is telling you something. A deal that looks too good to be true on a Scotty Cameron almost always is. Fourth, the photos themselves. Authentic sellers who know what they have will give you clear, well-lit images from multiple angles. Close-ups of the face, the sole, the heel engraving, and the shaft label. If a listing has 3 blurry photos from 4 feet away and the seller resists providing close-ups when you ask, that resistance tells you more than the photos ever would. One more layer of protection, and this is the one that separates casual buyers from serious collectors. Scotty Cameron operates an official authentication registry on their website. You can send any Scotty Cameron putter to their studio in California for examination. If it's authentic, they issue a certificate of authenticity and add the putter's serial number to their registry database. That COA has added thousands of dollars to verified putters at auction. Golden Age golf auctions, the house that sold Tiger's $393,300 backup, required a Cameron Studio authentication on the lot. Without that letter, the bidding never reaches that level. And it works in the other direction too. When a buyer sent in what he thought was an authentic putter from an estate, the Cameron Studio examined it and returned it with a COA confirming it was genuine. That single piece of documentation turned an unverified garage sale find into a verified collectible with a traceable serial number in Scotty Cameron's own database. The letter changed the value of the putter more than any amount of cleaning or restoration ever could. Scotty Cameron's own counterfeit notice puts it simply: if you're in doubt, don't buy. That's their advice, from the company that knows these putters better than anyone alive. Here's the version from someone who watches this market every week. If you can't verify it, it doesn't matter how good the listing looks or how right the price feels. Walk. If you want to know what other golf equipment is quietly gaining value while most golfers overlook it, that video is on screen right now.